Francisco 49ers after just honestly embarrassing the Texans last week. It was 30-0. They really didn't even have to play the second half.
Doing what he always does, moving guys around well. I mean, using his personnel very good. Their quarterback seems to be playing at a very high level. Their receivers are as scary as it gets. And I know just from seeing some of the crossover of that defense and things like that over the years that how active they are in their how aggressive they are in their blitzes, how aggressive they are in their coverage. And to me, it's not a coincidence why that team's playing so well.
Kyle Shanahan's defense is just playing off the charts. Last 4 games, they haven't allowed a point. Let's say that again. Last 4 points, have not allowed a point in the second half. 57-0, the #1 defense in football. And then you throw in the fact that Mike McDaniel is going back to the place that he was an assistant for 5 years.
Those relationships and people will always matter to me. But in terms of this week, it will be odd for a second, for sure, to be in a different locker room or pulling up on the bus in a weird area or being on a different sideline for a second. I'm assuming, and in the NFL, if you're aspiring to do big things, you have to play big-time football in December and January against big-time teams. So that's something that I think our team will be excited for, and I know the 49ers will be excited to play football like they always are each and every week.
This is the 2 seed in the AFC at the 3 seed in the NFC. This is a very, very good game. Cam Wolf is in Miami. Steve White's back with me as well. Cam, start with you. Mike McDaniel went out of his way yesterday to say this game is not about me. Not about me at all.
It sort of is, though, Andrew. It's a reunion Sunday, not only for Mike McDaniel, who said he's not doing the Oklahoma drill against Kyle Shanahan, but also 4 other key players on the Dolphins offense. You got Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, River Craycraft, and Trent Sherfield, all who played for the 49ers last year, now with the Dolphins. And I want to focus on those running backs. Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson lead the Dolphins backfield. And Raheem threw a lot of spice on the rivalry this week. He talked with reporter Tyler Dunn for a story about Tua, and there was a lot of quotes that caught the 49ers' eyes. Among them, he said, "We have more talent than they do," and when asked to compare them, he mentioned that we have a quarterback who can actually sling it. Now, Raheem went on Twitter later and said, "Hey, I wasn't trying to dog Jimmy G. It was clickbait, that sort of thing. I was just trying to praise my quarterback one." But Deebo Samuel took a lot of exception to that and said, "Raheem, let's be real with yourself." And so in a matchup that already had a lot of fun stuff there's a lot more spice now between these two sides. And Raheem also mentioned he wasn't fully happy with how the 49ers handled his injury situation. That run game will be something to watch because the Dolphins offense, as we know, has been explosive in the passing game with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, but they know they need to be a complete offense to be its contender down the stretch. And so trading for Jeff Wilson for a 5th-round pick a few weeks ago has been a huge boost for their offense. He's been the downhill back that they've missed. Guys I've talked to in the locker room said he runs angry, and we needed that. And guess who wants Jeff Wilson back now? The 49ers. Now that Elijah Mitchell, Steve, is out for most of the regular season, they miss him, and the Dolphins desperately need him. They're playing a run D that's #1 in football, and the Dolphins have to figure out how to get that run game going. There may be a little bit of fireworks on Sunday.
Yeah, you think? I mean, not only are these the 2 best teams, you got the Mike McDaniel factor, you've got this. Well, these are actually just 2 dominant type of football teams in what they do. The Dolphins offensively, the Niners defensively. But the Dolphins offense is going to be likely without their starting offensive tackles on both sides of the offensive line of scrimmage. That's not good when you're playing this defensive front. And Nick Bosa and Samson Ebukam, Eric Armstead could be coming back from injury this week. And then you've got those linebackers, the 49ers, to deal with. As Andrew mentioned, as we all know, the Niners have not given up any points in the second halves of their last 4 games, all of them victories. But look at some of these numbers that the Niners also have put up. They have not allowed in their victories more than 16 points in any game. They've allowed 71 total points in their 7 victories. Okay, when they dial it up, they are dominant. So this defense, Tua in that passing game, it is going to have to be quicker than ever without those offensive tackles. Because, again, Bosa and Ebukam and those guys are ready to turn up some hot sauce.
Yeah, some hot sauce. I like it. Hot sauce there. And they turned up the hot sauce, and they forced that fumble on Alvin Kamara to preserve the shutout. I know Saints fans are going, Chris Olave caught that ball, but still, I digress.